All right, y'all, Machiavelli Mills TV. Now it's time for us to talk about some boxing and some antics in boxing. Specifically, man. So the other day, a couple of days ago, Errol Spence tweeted that Frank Martin is really like that, right? And this was a day after Keyshawn Davis's win, right? And for those who don't know who Keyshawn Davis is, he's a fighter who is 6-0. 23-year-old guy, up-and-coming prospect, got a lot of potential, a whole lot of talent. He fights on Top Rank under Bob Arum, and he's in the same stable as training stable as Terrence Bud Crawford, right? Trained by Bomac. Keyshawn Davis is an excellent talent. I think he's a special type of kid. He's gonna be a great, like he gonna be one of the future. He is one of the fighters who will be considered the future of the sport of boxing, for sure, right? But Errol Spence tweeted that Frank Martin, his fighter that fights under his promotional company, Man Down Promotions, he tweeted that Frank Martin is really like that. And this was a day after Keyshawn Davis's win. And you had people saying that Keyshawn would steamroll Frank Martin, so on and so forth. And Keyshawn should fight Frank Martin next, and this, that, and the third, right? And so Errol Spence tweeted that Frank Martin was really like that the next day after that, right? And then Keyshawn Davis responded to Errol Spence's tweet and said that Terrence Crawford is really like that, right? And so then after he tweeted that, because he's trying to poke at Errol, basically trying to say, you trying to say, yo, dude like that, well, Terrence Crawford really like that. Trying to tell Errol that, you know, he feel like Terrence would beat his ass and so on and so forth. And basically trying to tell Errol he don't want none of Terrence and all this and all of that, right? And so then after that, Keyshawn Davis went live and he said that he told Errol this: keep hyping up your boy. Keep hyping your boy up. Your boy gonna get stepped on. Keep hyping your boy up, because I got a boy for you, Errol, and you know what he do. He stopped everybody, right? He talking about Terrence Crawford. He said, I got a boy for you, Errol, and I'm not mad. I'm talking my shit, because this is real shit. I'm talking. Keep hyping your boy up. Your boy gonna get hurt, right? Also in the video, Keyshawn was snapping on Errol, calling Errol scary and how he needs to fight Terrence Crawford, and he's scary, this, that, and the third, and so on and so forth, right? And let's just discuss this whole situation. First, Keyshawn said he's not mad. Keyshawn, yes, you are. You are mad. You're upset. And that's why you made the video. That's why you tweeted out what you tweeted. You started going off saying Errol's scary and, you know, you have stopped Frank Martin and Terrence Crawford really like that and so on and so forth. Keyshawn is mad at Errol for giving his own fighter props and hyping him up, which doesn't make sense. That's what Errol is supposed to do. A guy fights under his promotional company. Errol is supposed to continue to hype that guy up, to speak praise, to heap praise on him, to basically keep the buzz around his name. He's supposed to be the guy who is going to promote his fighter and say that, you know, my fighter is great, this, that, and the third. Unlike what Bob Arum was doing for Terrence Bud Crawford, right? And Keyshawn signed to Bob, and Bob was shitting on Bud every chance he could get. Saying Bud don't make no money, Bud don't sell, Bud ain't really worth the, you know, he don't make no money from Bud, and Bud don't sell nothing, and all this and all of that. That's the opposite of what a promoter is supposed to be doing. Errol is showing you what a promoter is supposed to be doing. He's supposed to say, my guy is the best guy out there. He's a guy people should be looking out for. He is a guy who's really tough, who could really bang it out and get into the nitty gritty and get in wars with guys and come on top. Come out on top. That's what Errol is supposed to be saying, right? I don't know if Keyshawn perceived Errol giving Frank Martin props as a shot to him, and maybe so. Maybe Keyshawn is triggered because he's mad. He's probably said some unflattering remarks about Frank Martin in private, and you know, he's pissed off that Errol is giving him props and all that. But again, what did Keyshawn expect Errol to say? What did he expect Errol to say about Frank? Frank ain't shit, and Keyshawn to whoop Frank ass? Errol ain't gonna say that shit. Even if a promoter believes that, the promoter is never supposed to say his guy gonna get crushed, his guy gonna get demolished, his guy ain't really that good. That's a horrible ass promoter. He ain't supposed to say my guy ain't this. Come on, man. That ain't what a promoter supposed to do. So Errol was just doing his job. Frank fights under Errol's promotional company, and that's all it is. Now, I'll credit Keyshawn's response and his emotions to his youth, right? He's a young guy, you know what I mean? You know, he's hungry. He's supposed to be out there challenging all the top guys and calling guys out, and he's supposed to say he's supposed to think he's the best. He's supposed to think that he'll crush everybody in his way. But Keyshawn may be getting ahead of himself from all this talk that he's talking, right? You know, he's saying that guys say he ain't nothing because he's 6-0, telling them he ain't beat nobody, this, that, and the third. And people are always going to talk in boxing. That's what they going to do, right? But Keyshawn may be getting ahead of himself, you know. But if I'm Errol, if Keyshawn want that fight, Errol and Frank should look forward to setting up that fight after the Chris Colbert fight, right? And Errol said that, you know what, he basically was saying that, you know, he told Keyshawn, you ain't on our radar. And that's because Keyshawn is still up and coming. He don't got no belts. Frank trying to fight for a belt. Frank trying to be a champion. He's much older than Keyshawn, and you know, he trying to get his moment now. So I get that, right? Keyshawn is a very talented fighter. I think Keyshawn has a higher ceiling than Frank, considering he's much younger. He started boxing at a younger age, and Keyshawn has natural boxing talent. However, Keyshawn shouldn't let his emotions let his mouth write a check that his ass may not be able to cash. Currently, I don't know if his mouth can if he can cash them checks. If I don't know if he can cash them checks. I don't know. He's saying that, but I don't know at this stage of his career. Keyshawn's ego may cause him to accept the fight with Frank Martin too soon and set him up for a Jamel Charlo, Erickson Lubin 2.0, right? And for those who don't know, when Jamel Charlo, you know, when Erickson Lubin was coming up, everybody was saying Erickson was the next guy at 154. He was a special fighter, a special talent. He was this, that, and the third. And they threw him in there with Jamel Charlo too soon. And he got stopped. And he got stopped in vicious fashion, right? And Erickson Lubin been trying to climb out of that hole. He climbed out of that hole for a while. And then he got beat up on by Sebastian Fundora. What was that, last year? Was that last year or earlier this year? Earlier this year, I think, right? Got beat up on by Sebastian Fundora, right? And Erickson Lubin had a promising future. You know, I feel like he just got in there way too soon. He had to mature a little bit longer. He had to mature a little bit more, and maybe he would have been ready. And this may be the situation with Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn talking crazy and this, that, and the third. Be careful what you wish for, because I think Frank would beat Keyshawn. I think Keyshawn is a great fighter, but I think he a little too wet behind the ears at this point. You know, even though Frank started boxing late, Frank is a dog in that ring, right? And I'm looking at Keyshawn's last fight. He got the stoppage in vicious fashion, but Keyshawn he didn't look as sharp as he normally does. And it may be due to ring rust from a long layoff. You know what I mean? But I think Frank would beat Keyshawn right now. Currently, I think Frank would beat the Keyshawn we just saw. You know, even though Keyshawn got the stop, dude he was fighting wasn't all of that. He wasn't too much of, you know, he wasn't no big name guy. You know what I mean? And Keyshawn didn't look as sharp then. Frank is a sharp fighter, man. So I think that in this situation, if you want to fight Frank next, I think Frank would come out on top. I just do. You know, and it's not because I'm an Errol Spence fan or nothing like that. I think Keyshawn is going to have a better career overall than Frank Martin. You know, but I think throwing him in there right now, nah, way too soon. I think he will be in trouble, right? If he were to take that fight right now. I do. I think, you know, when he fight after he probably like, you know, maybe 12, 15 fights in or something like that, I think he probably would have beat Frank at that time, right? But I think right now, I think it's much too soon for him. You know, Keyshawn got a lot of Adrian Broner bravado about him. You know, and that's great for him. That's great for him in his boxing career. I think that will aid his ascension to the top. You know, I think that will, excuse me. I think him being able to promote himself is great for him. They're going to be like, you know, people going to want to tune into his fights. They're going to want to, you know, look at him on social media, so on and so forth. He got a whole lot of personality. He talk a whole lot of shit. But I think at this point, Keyshawn would get humbled if he stepped in the ring with Frank right now. I just believe that. And that's no slight to Keyshawn. I don't think he trash. I think Keyshawn is going to be great. Right? But I think right now, Keyshawn doing a whole lot of talking. And I don't know if he's really ready for that for real. You know, and I'm not saying that Frank is just unbeatable guy or nothing like that. But I think Frank is a really good fighter. I really think Frank is really, really good and very skilled, very underrated. And I think that Frank could be a problem for a lot of other guys in that division. Without question, hard-nosed, tough, got a chin on him, can bang it out. Like, I really think Frank is a rough, scrappy dude, for sure. And I don't think Keyshawn ain't ready for that right now. You know, and I think he's being a little too emotional with the Errol Spence thing. And it's like, because he was talking crazy about Errol, but earlier this year, like February, they were in the gym, and he was basically calling Errol a real one, so on and so forth, and all this and all of that. And then, after Errol basically was telling him, like, what you thought I was going to say? Like, that's basically telling him that's my guy. Like, nah, man. I ain't finna say otherwise. Like, nah, bro. You ain't on our radar right now. And then Keyshawn tweeted, much respect, champ, and I can respect that, champ, or something like that. Because he probably knew, man, he got too little ahead of himself, talking crazy, you know what I mean? Jumped out his body a little bit. And like, hold on, fam, relax, calm down. That's what he's supposed to do. Chill out, fam. You know what I mean? But Keyshawn got a lot of bravado, braggadocious demeanor about himself, which will bode well for his career. And people he can wear the black hat and be the villain, and people will tune in to see him lose. But I think Keyshawn is always going to be a next level type of talent, for sure. But right now, nah, not right now. I think it'll be Erickson Lubin and Jermell Charlo 2.0. If not by stoppage, Keyshawn would get beat. I think Frank would get the decision. I do. I really think that. I think he's just too green right now. But I will say this. Errol is a really good dude, man. Errol is a really mature young guy in a lot of different ways. You can say he was immature with the drinking and all this and all of that, and you can say he might be immature at certain times or whatever. But for Keyshawn to be talking like that, if that was me, I'm talking crazy to Keyshawn. I'm talking crazy to dude. Right? And people I know it'll probably look crazy. Are you going to talk stuff to the little dude, but you ain't going to talk stuff to Terrence Crawford or whatever? I know it might look crazy from that aspect or whatever. I don't know. Dude jumping out of line, I'll worry about Terrence Crawford when I get to him, when it's time to build up the promotion for the fight and we get that contract signed. I'm talking all this shit then. But I can't even fight Keyshawn. Right? Keyshawn ain't in my weight class. He's in my fighter's weight class. But I'm going to tell Keyshawn some shit. I'd have told Keyshawn, listen here, little motherfucker. I know who the fuck you think you talking to. Chill out and stay in your goddamn lane and chill your little ass out and build your career up. Build your shit up and be a champion first, but you start talking greasy to me. Sit your little ass down. Sit your motherfucking ass down and cool the fuck out. That's what I would have told him. I'm sorry. I would have told him, sit your goof ass down. Keyshawn is a great fighter, but if I was Errol, I'd have had to little boy him. Sit your goof ass down and chill the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Cool out with all the dumb shit, and I'll holler at you later, famo. All that other shit, I cool it out, bro. I'd have had to told him that because he just jumped out of his body and got too beside himself. But Errol is a good dude with a cool, calm, and collected demeanor. He real, outside of that Danny Garcia stuff and outside of build-ups between fights, Errol really chill for the most part. But I'd have had to let Keyshawn Davis know something. I had to let his little ass know some shit. Your little ass ain't talking crazy to me. You ain't talking this scary shit to me. I had told his little motherfucking ass something. I don't care. You better cool your little ass out. You feel me? For we had to have a conversation in real time. And I tell your ass, hey, chill the bullshit out now. And he ain't trying to see Errol. Errol would look crazy fighting him, but I'd tell his ass something. Hey, look, I can't even fight you, famo. You ain't in my weight class, but you need to chill out, fam. Worry about what the fuck you need to be worried about, and keep that over there. That's it. That's all. But that's just my opinion. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the Keyshawn Davis, Errol Spence exchange, and what y'all think about Keyshawn blowing up on Errol Spence for promoting Frank Martin. Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, Machiavelli Mills TV. I'm out. Peace.